Welcome to our weekly program, The Inside Story of Chabad in America through the Medill Archives. Yesterday was Yud Shvat, the Yortzeit of the Frierdiker Rebbe, Istalkus, and today is Yud Aleph Shvat, the Kabbalas HaNesiyas of our Rebbe. Zorach HaShemesh, Bo HaShemesh, Bo HaShemesh, Zorach HaShemesh. They're not with us, Begashmias, but definitely Beruchnias, they're here, as we spoke a few weeks ago. Even Yatabi B'Chaye, even more than before. Their influence and their work is engraved in many institutions and organizations, and their memory are in the hearts of millions of Yidden. In many generations, I don't think there was a Rebbe that accomplished in the entire world and brought back Yiddishkeit, Yidden to Torah mitzvahs, millions of Yidden, like the Rebbe. The Baal Shem Tov came down to this world. Baal Shem Tov, there was a time of the Gzeir of Tach V'Tat, Chmelnitsky, pogroms, and the people were farchalished. They were in a state of faint from Torah mitzvahs. There was the Haskalah movement then. And the Eibishter sent down the Baal Shem Tov in this world, and his name is Yisrael, because every Jew is called Yisrael, to wake up from the faint. And when a person is farchalished, then you call his name, you revive him. So the Baal Shem Tov's name was Yisrael, to revive the Klal Yisrael. And this is why the Baal Shem Tov came in this world. But the communication then wasn't like today. He couldn't reach the entire world. The Rebbe became a Rebbe after the Holocaust. Yidden were farchalished. They were in a state of faint from Yiddishkeit after the Holocaust. People had tzfeikes, doubts in the Eibishter, in Amunah. And the Rebbe came here, became a Rebbe to revive them and also to comfort them. That's why his name was Menachem. Menachem means to comfort Yidden, millions of Yidden after the Holocaust. And Yud Aleph Nisan today is the day of Kabbalas HaNesiyas, so it's a special day. Especially what the Rebbe did is Mashiach. Everybody believes in Mashiach. B'chol Yom Sheyovei, the Rambam says, and that's a Iker Emunah is Mashiach. Every Chosid believes in Mashiach. Every Litvisher believes in Mashiach. Every Yid believes in Mashiach. And everybody finishes their speech. You have a Chosid, a Rebbe, finishes the Eibishter zal helfen. You have other Chassidim, also they finish a speech. The Eibishter zal helfen, Bekuriv Mamish, Mashiach tzidkayne zal kimen. And that's normal, they believe in Mashiach. But the Rebbe made Mashiach real. So some people ask, people ask me, you speak about Mashiach, you're a Lubavitcher? I said, no, Mashiach is not a Lubavitcher. Mashiach is for everybody. The Rebbe made a Mashiach who can come every B'chol Yom and B'chol Rega V'Rega. This is the uftu of the Rebbe. So today, Yud Aleph Nisan is the day that the Rebbe's Kabbalas HaNesiyas. So we should learn a lesson from the Rebbe. Now, there's not much that I want to speak about. That everybody spoke already. There's so many stories that everybody knows already. I don't know if there's more stories, and there is probably more. But I just want to mention today, because it's Yud Aleph Shvat, what my Zayde, who was the Rebbe's Melamed, the Rebbe's teacher, told me. He was the Rebbe's teacher from the time of, I think the years from 5 or 6 years old till about 11. The Rebbe was born in 1902. The Rebbe's father, Rabbi Levi Yitzchak, was a grandson of Reb Baruch Sholem. Reb Baruch Sholem was the oldest son of the Tzemach Tzedek. The Tzemach Tzedek had 7 children. They're all Rabbeim. The Rebbe Marash, of course, was Chabad, but all of them, the Kopitz, were Rabbeim, except the oldest son, Reb Baruch Sholem, was not a Rebbe. And we see that even the Rebbe comes out from Baruch Sholem. The Rebbe's mother was a special woman. She comes from a Rabbanish family. The family was named Yanovsky. When they were expecting the first child, our Rebbe, the Rebbe Rashab instructed them how to take care of the baby, of the Rebbe, in details. Wrap him around in a white sheet. All the Rabbeim, they were told to wrap around, and then they never even thought that the Rebbe would be Rebbe. I mean, even the Frierdiker Rebbe was not Rebbe yet. So they never even thought about that. But this was number one that the Rebbe Rashab told him. And another thing that Rebbe Rashab said, what name he should give the Rebbe. Usually, as the Rebbe writes in many letters, that the name is up to the parents only. Not the grandparents. Nobody should mix into the name of a child. But here the Rebbe Rashab asked them, please, he should name him Menachem Mendel after the Tzemach Tzedek. So the Rebbe Levi Yitzchak lived in Padabranke. My Zayda lived in Padabranke. It's a city in Russia. People from Yekaterinoslav asked Rebbe Levi Yitzchak to move to Yekaterinoslav because they needed a rov. So he moved to Yekaterinoslav. He moved to the children. The Rebbe was probably 5 years old, I guess. I'm not sure exactly. And Rebbe Levi Yitzchak needed a melamed, a teacher for his children. He had 3 children. A teacher, a Yireh Shamayim. And my Zayda was a big Yireh Shamayim. He was a sheikhet in Padabranke. So he wanted that he should leave Shchita and go to Yekaterinoslav to be a teacher for the Rebbe. Of course, my Zayda didn't realize who the Rebbe is, but he had a mishpacha, and he was a sheikhet. A sheikhet, they pay better than a teacher, so he didn't want to move to Yekaterinoslav. So he wrote to the Rebbe Levitzchak that he doesn't want to go. He can't go. Anyways, it passed by a month or 2, I'm not sure. He sent a telegram, the Rebbe Levitzchak sent a telegram again to my Zayda that, please, I need you for a melamed, I need you a Yireh Shamayim. He begged him so much. So my Zayda left Shchita in Padabranke and he moved to Yekaterinoslav to become a teacher to the Rebbe's children. Now the Rebbe had 2 brothers. One was named, the Rebbe's Mendel, and Label and Beryl. In Russia, furniture means mebel. So the people in Yekaterinoslav by Zayda told me, used to say that Rebbe Levi Yitzchak has nice mebel. Mem is the Rebbe's name, Beis is Beryl, and Lamed is Label. Now, by the way, as a Maimer HaMuzger, when my son, Shnei Zalman, was born, so my father went to the Rebbe for dictation. After the bris, the Rebbe asked him, what name did they give him? So he said they gave him a name after the Zayda, Shnei Zalman. So first of all he said, as al uisvax of Shnei Zalman. My Zalman, he was a teacher in Olateira, everybody knows him. Baruch Hashem, very much matzliach. And then he said, as der Zayda, my Melamed, hat mir aufgestellt auf die Fies. He put me on my feet. Can you imagine the Rebbe should say such a thing about my Zayda? Hat mir aufgestellt auf die Fies. Now, when the Rebbe grew up, He had a phenomenal memory and a deep learning far beyond his years. And by the time he became bar mitzvah, he was recognized as an Ilui. And when he was in the 20s, he went to the Ragachover Goen, and the Ragachover Goen gave him smicha. The Ragachover Goen only gave smicha to 3 people, and the Rebbe was one of them. Now, I just want to finish off with 2 stories, short stories, since it's Yud Aleph Shvat, it's short stories. One story I heard from my Zayde, and the other story I heard from Rabbi Nanis. So my Zayde told me that Shabbos HaGodel, the Rabbonim speak in Shul, the halachas of Pesach. So the Rebbe's father had a minhag to put in a talis, and the Rabbonim, people all over came to listen to the Rebbe's father speak, Shabbos HaGodel. And he used to start with Nigla, and then he used to go into Kabbalah. He spoke for hours and hours and hours like the Rebbe. The Rebbe was a little boy, I don't know how old he was, 8, 9, 10. He was standing in the back by the door. After an hour and a half, the Rebbe's father speaking, he picked up his head, he said, I don't think people understand what I'm saying. But der Ingele, he called the Rebbe, he pointed on the Rebbe, he was in the back, versteht, was zog, something like that. He does understand. That's number 1, what I heard from my Zayde. Another story from Rabbi Nanis, an old chassid, he passed away, I think he was over 100. He was in prison for 20 years in Russia. He learned the Lubavitch. So when he learned as Bacher, he had to go home in the middle of the Seder. So he asked the Rebbe Rashab. So the Rebbe Rashab told him that when he goes home, he should pass by Rabbi Levi Yitzchok's house. I don't know if it was on the way or not. So he came to the Rebbe's father, Rabbi Yitzchok, and he said, the Rebbe told me I should come to you. So he said, come before Shalosh Yudas, before the Rebbe's father used to eat Shalosh Yudas. Rivin, that was a very holy time. Come before Shalosh Yudas. So he came before Shalosh Yudas, and he called him over, he says, come here, I want to show you something. He opened a door in a room, it was light, a little dark, and he saw the Rebbe sitting and learning. And the Rebbe's father told Rabbi Nanis, cook. He says, cook, look good. He will come useful to you. That's what he told him. I heard it from Rabbi Nanis when he was in 770. So when he came afterwards he came to America, Baruch Hashem, and he went Yechidus to the Rebbe, so he told the Rebbe the story. So the Rebbe with a smile asked him, Nu, ich hab dir zu dis gekommen. Am I useful to you? This is a Maise that Rabbi Nanis told me. In 1923, the Rebbe met the Frierdiker Rebbe in Rostov, and in 1925, he met him in Leningrad, and he became a secretary there by the Frierdiker Rebbe. In 1928, he married Rebbe Tzachayim Mushke, and after the Chasana, they moved to Berlin. I mean, there's much, much more to talk about, but there is no time. So, Yimit Hashem, next week, I will share with you an important word from Rebbe Tzachayim Mushke, since it's Chov Bei Shvat, as before Chov Bei Shvat, the Yortzeit of Rebbe Tzachayim Mushke. Thank you.